By doing that, we've picked up some capabilities that we ordinarily wouldn't have. And among those capabilities is the ability to videotape the stars. We're going to be videotaping a couple of constellations that are really important to direction finding. One of these is Cassiopeia, which looks like a big W in the sky and points in the direction of the North Star. Another one is the Big Dipper, which also points in the direction of the North Star. Once we've identified the North Star, also known as Polaris, we'll be able to do things like tell our latitude, work up a device that we can use to accurize our shadow stick method, and, well, just feel confident that we know which direction is which. But there's something else in the sky tonight that I want to point out. That something is a visitor. It's only going to be here for a little while. It's the Hale Bopp comet. It's been thousands of years since it's been here, and it'll be thousands of years before we see it again. But we thought we ought to give you a look at that one as well. They're not much good for direction finding, but they're sure spectacular to take a look at. Now, part of what we're going to do tomorrow morning. I'm going to set up a device tonight, and then tomorrow I'm going to show you how it works. But I want to show you how to set it up in the darkness. After we've done that, you're going to probably have recognized the fact that, well, there's some limitations to the equipment that we've got. And among those limitations is one, well, pretty important one. You see, a night vision scope like the one we're using only has a very small field of view. This means that some of the stars will be outside of the scope when we're looking at them. In other words, we won't see the entire constellation. We can only see portions of it at a time. But what we're going to do to help you to kind of understand what parts of the constellation are visible is we're going to use a very bright light, and we're going to actually shine it on the stars that make up the constellation to help you to break those stars out from the starry background. Well, that's about it. I think we need to get started taking a look at those stars. Well, there's an interesting visitor to the night sky. That's the comet Hale Bopp. Just happens to be in the sky tonight, just as it happened to be in the sky about 4,000 years ago. I ought to point out that, well, it's a pretty attractive celestial event. It really isn't very good for direction finding. But what is good is another constellation called Cassiopeia, which is right over here. These are the stars in the constellation Cassiopeia. You can see them right there. Makes like a big W. Now what happens is that W kind of points across the sky, well now, to the North Star. There it is again. It's not as good a pointer as the pointers in the Big Dipper, but hey, it kind of gets you in the right part of the sky. So keep that in mind. You've got two major constellations to work with. You've got the Big Dipper, and you've got Cassiopeia. This is the tip of the handle in the Big Dipper. Let's take a look at that. You can see it kind of goes up like this through these bright stars, all the way up to the cup. This is the cup here. Now the tip two stars right up there will be the ones that point across the sky at the North Star. That's it right there. That little cluster of stars you see up there is the three stars in the belt of Orion. Now the center star in the belt rises due east. So if you were to look out there in a winter evening and you saw that thing coming up, you could say, ah, that's east. Unfortunately, this is a winter constellation. Let me show you what I've done here. This big stick was the stick we used in the shadow stick method. Now I've taken a second stick and driven it into the ground. But before I did that, I made sure that the second stick, this little one here, was in a line with the big stick and with the North Star, which is just up there. Now what I've got is a straight line between the sides of the little stick, the big stick, and the North Star. This is a celestial north line, straight between these two. Now there's another part to this trick, and this is it. After having these lined up and this stick securely in place, I ran my thumb down the little stick while I looked across the top of my thumb. What I was looking at was the top of the big stick and the North Star. I just moved it down until I looked across the top of my thumb, the top of the big stick, and I could see the North Star. That means that all three of those points, the thumb, the top of the stick, and the North Star, are in a line. Once I'd done that, I carved